because everybody always asks me, how do you write these? What's your process? What's it like writing them? And so I decided to do this little video. And what we're going to do is we're going to write a murder mystery right here in front of you. Now, obviously, it's too long to do it right now in the next 15 minutes. So this is just a setup video. But while we go through the whole process, I don't even need to explain it because we're going to go through the whole process. You're going to see how everything works. I came up with a starting point, but I have not thought about it at all. So what you're going to see right here is Ruby and I talking about a fresh idea that we have not given any thought to previously. So you're going to literally see the creative process in action. So what I decided to do, because I had this convention coming up, I decided to write a murder mystery that was relevant to those conventions. And they do it in Los Angeles at the Los Angeles Airport Hilton. But this year it's going to be virtual because of COVID. But when they do it live, they have LARPs, which are live action role-playing games. And then I do my murder mysteries. And then there's board games, and there's RPG games, there's video games, there's all kinds of games you can think of. And thousands of people get together to play them, and it's really fun. And that information will be below too. So what I decided to do was either do a D&D game murder mystery or a LARP murder mystery. So we're going to decide which one of those, but like I said before, we have not done any planning on this at all. So you're going to see this happen as we talk. So the first question is, now first let me explain, it doesn't really matter if it's a good idea, if it's a good theme or not, what I've discovered. One of the best games I wrote is the superhero game. Somebody suggested that I do a superhero game. I'm like, nah, that doesn't sound very good. And then it kind of just stuck in my head for a couple of days, and all of a sudden, boom, I came up with an angle. So it doesn't really matter. We can make something out of anything. It's like clay. So we're just going to randomly choose one of these two things, and then we're just going to start making some out of it. But the first step is to come up with an angle. And that is, and usually what I come up with, and I'm not sure what Ruby's going to do because we haven't done this together before, whatever angle I come up with, the way I'm going to tell the story, what the game is going to focus on, it's not what you would typically expect. It's always something a little unusual or offbeat. So that's what we're going to try to do. So first, my question is, do you want to say hi to everybody first?
Hello.
Do you want to say anything about yourself?
No, I usually just help him with character designs. Like he'll come to me while he's already gotten the theme down. He's already had like most of it mapped out, but I really like characters. So I will help him with characters and what's really cool is you like get connected to characters. So I always have a character that I helped in with the most, and it's always really fun to see someone play that character because I helped write it. But now I'm gonna try doing the whole thing, which I've never done before.
So let's just talk about basically LARP versus D&D. What's your first initial
So
ideas?
you're saying a theme would be LARP or D&D?
Yeah, it's a group of. Well, I don't know. Like with the superheroes, it was the angle wasn't what was expected, or even with the steampunk. So it's LARP. Just go from that. It doesn't have to be people playing a LARP. It could be people who normally play LARPs
it could be.
But now they're in a different setting, but they're all LARPers. It could be. They could be spending the weekend at a hotel, or they could be on vacation, or they could be having dinner at somebody's house. Just so happens they're all LARPers, so they got that common thing in common. So you could build a story from that point of view, or you could build a story based on they're doing a LARP and somebody gets killed for real.
Yeah, like it could be a LARP about a murder and the murder comes.
And that actually happened, exactly.
Okay. I like LARP more than D&D. Like I think it should be.
Why do you like LARP more than D&D?
Because
Dumb doesn't count.
LARP has more like I'm more character based, so for me, LARP characters seem more interesting because they seem more human to me than like beasts and stuff.
Oh well, if it was a D&D, it could be just the adventurers.
I feel like D&D would have you'd have too much to explain. Cause if it's about a murder, D&D doesn't really play into it that much. Cause it's like creature. It's like because people have they role play, but they have like certain characters, but they don't necessarily act like their characters. They just have characters.
Yeah. So
LARP people actually act like their character, which I think is more interesting. Because you could have people that are acting different than how they really are. Some people could stay in their character or believe they are their character in the LARP game. Or, like, people would just act unusually if they're pretending to be a character. Like, someone could be totally different than the character they're playing during the LARP, and that confuses people because they've just met each other.
Yeah. Well, that to me, sounds like a possibility for making it more interesting. If people changing character in the middle, that could be interesting.
Yeah, and it could be...
I mean our RPG. Somebody could play their character and also go out of character and then play their character. That could be an interesting
but their
element.
character are usually like really far. Like you definitely know they're playing a character because they're magical or play.
Yeah. Okay. So I see what I see.
I'm saying LARP people, they could play their character more normally, like they could pass more. Like you could meet someone during a LARP and they are putting on a persona, but because they're technically personaing a human, a person that
could be ambiguous.
Exist,
it could be ambiguous whether they're behaving naturally or as an act.
Yeah, and someone could like take the character too far where they just can't stop. Like they're still playing their characters some part. Like maybe the murderer has to play a part still to get away. Like maybe the murder is totally different than the character he was playing, but no one knows him except for maybe like one person outside of his character. So like like a wholesome character. So like the murder's like this is an example. This doesn't have to happen, but the character the real person that's the murderer is like really vicious, has bad history or whatever. Like maybe has been in Mortal Kombat, but they played a really innocent like carefree character in the LARP, and people didn't really know them beforehand. Like maybe one person got to know him a little bit, but most people are like, oh yeah, he's just like really like timid because he's he's a good actor and he knows how to play timid.
Right. So it could be a new player, or it could be somebody who has recently started, or at least at the very least somebody who doesn't socialize outside of the LARPing.
Yeah.
So he's got this whole persona.
Yeah.
And then part of the
well, they'd have to be good at acting for some extent, or someone would know they're acting.
Right, that's what I'm saying is that, so because nobody socializes with him outside of the LARP, or her, they don't, by the way, where are we at on he or she?
I don't know. I think it's a girl should kill a girl.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's we need a girl to kill a girl.
We alternate. So as I'm writing these, I don't want to always be predictable, like it's always a guy or it's always the girl. Or the guy's always the murderer, the victim's always a guy, or the victim's always a girl, or the guy's always killing a girl, or a girl always killing a guy. So what we do is we alternate between the... So we actually...
But not in order, where it's like guy, girl, guy, girl, guy, girl. We're just...
Yeah, it is.
No, don't say that. Now they know. Like
no, because they don't know what order we wrote them in.
Yeah, you can tell.
How can you tell?
Well, you kind of... I don't know. I mean, you can... You look...
Never mind. Okay.
Well, it's not exactly...
Girl.
Okay, yeah.
Let's go girl, because instantly that intrigues me, so there we go.
Yeah, girl. I think only one of your games has a girl killing a girl.
Which one?
Oh, I guess
no, don't say. I wouldn't want you to say. Okay. So, all right. Back to where we were. So this guy could be, or gal, could be, they don't socialize, right?
Yeah.
So, they don't socialize with people outside of the game. So they only know them as their game persona. Yeah. They don't know how creepy their apartment is, how creepy their friends are, how creepy they behave in the evening when they're not LARPing, and none of this comes out in the LARP.
This doesn't even have to be the murderer. Like, this could be anyone in the game.
Right.
But it would be interesting as a murderer.
Right. So that, in fact, we could do that to more than one person.
I feel like there should be a homebody that she or he can only express themselves during a LARP.
Oh, that's a good one.
They're like totally, they
Dang,
can't
maybe
talk.
we should be writing
They
this
can't
down.
like, they're really stuttery. But when they play the LARP, they're totally in character. So and they like getting like super like not boasting, but like big characters with a big personality, and they totally feel themselves.
Right.
But then after, where like they're explaining, or maybe like when people are playing that character, they're gonna be really stuttery. Like they're antisocial. They have anxiety about talking to people because they're homebodies.
Wait a
normally.
minute. I was thinking about something else. So, so you're saying that this person stutters while they're LARPing or stutters at home?
No, stutters at outside of their character.
Right.
But
when they're in their character,
they're really feeling it. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. So.
And then or you could have the opposite where there should be one character that is just like totally horrible at LARPing.
Oh really?
Like, yeah.
Horrible in what way?
Ooh, like they totally. You know how you have like a list of things you have to do? Like they don't do the list.
Right.
They are totally
not paying attention.
Yeah, they're not paying attention. They totally throw people
that's
off.
These games that we have to do a list. Do you have to do a list in LARPing?
Well, no, you don't have to do a list,
Oh,
but you have
I see what
goals
you mean.
that
you have goals,
can
yeah,
do.
okay.
But they totally
So they
throw
don't
people
even
off.
care
They're
about the goal.
lying,
They go
like,
around
a
just
bunch.
kind of
Yeah.
goofing around.
Yeah.
Messing everybody else's
and
thing
they're
up.
always they don't even have to be confused. They're just confusing other people. Like they think they're in the game, like they're doing well, but they're just confusing everyone. They're
Right.
like, "What are you?"
Okay, so
what are you
okay,
doing?
just because the people are watching this, let's come up with like how should the murder happen?
Oh my God, there's so many ways that they could happen.
I know, but as a LARP, what fits with the LARP? I mean, the first thing that comes
Poison.
to mind. The first thing that comes to mind is they pretend to kill the person. Everybody's killing everybody in the LARP.
Yeah.
But it's almost
No,
like
no. I know. What if it's crazy? And you know those people that are like managers and they test your role to see if you've killed or not? They're making a murder scene and then that guy dies somehow.
oh well, does everybody have judges? Though?
Yeah, you have to have a
Referees?
Jeff. Yeah. I mean the person that someone has to be controlling the game.
I think when they have small games, like 3 or 4 or 5 people,
This
that
is
really
8
know
people.
Each other. I know, but
And it could be
But if
more.
it's a group of people that play a lot together, I don't think they go with referees as much. You're thinking of when we played those great
Yeah.
big ones at Los Angeles. They had a referee
Yeah,
because
but
it's all
usually
these strangers
if it's
interacting.
but if it's a small group, the writer would be there and they can't play a game. So the writer dies. The writer gets
I
killed.
don't like that.
Why? Because it's you?
No. Because
Fine.
I that's seems. I'd like to.
Cliche?
I'd like the person playing actually doing the LARPing be the murderer and the murder victim.
What if it's a super posh, like really well-known LARPer who it's kind of unusual that he's there because they're kind of just a group of friends. Like
It's unusual in what sense?
like they're kind of a group of friends, or not everyone knows each other, but there's kind of a group, like they're a group that are not that popular, like they're just a group of LARPers, and suddenly this guy that's super famous for LARPing comes.
Oh, okay.
Or that could just be a character. But he's super famous, so he's kind of out of place. Like, people are like, why are you here? And he's kind of snooty. And like...
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. So, because that's potential for a lot of interactions.
Yeah.
See, one of the things...
he could be like, I act better than you, like, I have a record, I'm
right.
like really cool.
So one of the things we do when we write these things, and so I'm not telling her, because she already knows, is that we develop each of these characters, and really work hard on developing the characters in these stories. And one of the things we try to do is we try to create dynamics between the characters. So when we create a character or a list of characters, we're thinking of characters that are going to have conflict, characters that are going to be having an affair, characters that hate each other, characters that work with each other, something like that. So this particular character she's talking about is somebody who's suddenly a star LARPer shows up, somebody that's
Yeah.
well known, and they show up, And so the beauty of that is that it creates more drama, richer interactions between the characters, more action. So that's why that is in particularly a good idea. In terms of being whether he's a murderer or not, I don't know if that's particularly interesting. But ultimately, like for instance, when I wrote the superhero game, it wasn't all superheroes. I had 4 superheroes, a girl just out of college, a computer nerd, a guy who had been a paramilitary, like Green Beret guy in the army, and a woman who was the same thing. So it was a mix of people. So because it'd be seen like this, it's not going to be just 8 friends who know each other who are LARPers. And as we develop this, eventually there will be unusual characters kind of into the mix. It could be as crazy as one of the characters might be the maid. If it's a posh place, then there could be a maid. Let's say these 7 people are LARPing, or 8 people are LARPing because one's a victim.
Yeah.
And there's a maid, and the maid's kind of constantly walking in, cleaning stuff up, having some kind of, you know what I mean? So she's not even a LARPer, but she's constantly winding in and out of the story and interacting with whoever she works for.
There could also be one character, because this happened in a LARP we did, but a character had to leave, so another one that was like suddenly had to play.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of weird that they're there, and they have to like read up really fast.
Right.
So that could be a character.
Okay, so
but all I'm thinking of are characters because I'm used to thinking of characters. I don't really know like how to think of a murder scene, or.
Well, that's okay because I was just trying to kind of forcefully drag it forward for this video, but I don't think that's going to happen. So we're just working on the characters. So here's the deal. If you want to email me with any ideas or input you have,
or you can just do it in the comments.
You could do it in the comments, or you can email me at story@murderhappens.com, and then make suggestions, contribute.
You should have a thing where it's like they have to make certain suggestions. So right now we're working on characters. So if you have character ideas of some unusual character or some like personality that you think would be really good in a murder mystery. Not murders yet, just like people, because we need 8 people. We don't have that many ideas, and all people need to be slightly interesting.
Yeah.
So think of character ideas and personalities. Right. That's it. This point.
Interesting. And then we don't have the way the person is murdered.
No, we shouldn't do that yet.
No, I'm not asking for them to do that.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that's a major thing that we don't have. We also do not have a hook for this story yet. So there's got to be some kind of hook. So we'll think about that. So we're going to think about that between now and the next video.
But we won't talk about it. We have to talk about it on camera.
Yeah, but we're going to think about it and then hash it out. We won't hash anything out off camera. We'll hash it out here for you guys. But obviously now that the gates are open,
we just think about it. We don't talk though.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Just think
so
with
now
ourselves.
that the gates are open, we'll be thinking about it. And then on the next
we also have
video,
to figure out
out
what LARP it's going to be. Like, it could be, there's so many things. I mean, it could legit be a D&D LARP. Like,
oh, wow, that's crazy. So, or we could, you know what we should do? Here's the hook. Let's do a LARP that is completely non-traditional.
Okay, so nothing supernatural.
No
witches, no.
There could be fairies and witches, but
that's
we're not going to do.
I
know, but we're not going to do like a medieval sword fighting. We're not going to do vampire killing. You know what I mean? The common LARP things.
Yeah, but it has to be interesting that people would want to play too.
Well, yeah. Oh no, we're not making a LARP though. We're making.
I know, but I'm saying for it to be reasonable and believable, it has to be a LARP.
Of course, it's going to be interesting, but it'll be weird. It'll be different. Something they're not accustomed to.
Flower shop.
A flower shop LARP? On that note,
serial killer.
A serial killer
LARP?
That's not a bad idea.
That'd be cool. In a flower shop. I'm getting hot.
Okay.
I'm getting excited.
Okay. All right, so that's it. It's
really
been
hot
24
with
minutes.
the
I'm going to have to edit this thing down, but I think I'll be able to do that. And I'm going to add a little extra before and afterwards. So anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you found this interesting. This is once again live creative effort. We are designing this game as we go. We do not discuss it. We didn't discuss it ahead of time. I didn't even think about it because I have a way of actually have this ability to close a door in my mind and everything stays behind the door till I open it.
No
So
one cares.
I didn't even, yeah, whatever. So I gave it no thought and ahead of time, and now we've just now opened this door. We are now discussing this game. We are going to be thinking about it, of course, now that it's okay to think about it. But we, Ruby and I, will not discuss this until the next video. And what's that supposed to mean?
No talk.
Oh, no talk. Okay. I thought she was telling me, like, trying to remind
No
me of something.
mustache.
No mustache. Okay. Well, that's going to be a problem. So anyway, so until we see you again, thank you for joining us and give it some thought. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
If you would like to continue with us on our journey writing a murder mystery game, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Our next video will be focusing on story development. If you have any character ideas, please email the link in the description or comment down below. Bye. Murder happens.
Okay. Welcome to what?
I don't know.
Welcome to Murder Happens Murder Mystery Factory.
That's good.
So